CMPRadio.net, the voice of Chester.
These are the signs of love making. Signs of love making. These are the signs of love making. Signs of love making.
Welcome back to another episode of Straight to the Point, hosted by Adelaide Evans. Our special guest for the evening will be Miss Tiffany Fuller. And can y'all believe that this is episode 6? Episode 6. So let us welcome our special guest, Miss Tiffany Fuller.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? I am here on Straight to the Point.
Always smiles, always smiles.
Yeah.
So I know you was like, I really don't want no questions. I want to go off the dome, but I don't think y'all know that she know how to talk a lot. So meanwhile, I do have questions.
Okay.
But let's get, a little bit of other things out the way. So tell me if this is accurate and add if you need to.
Okay.
Okay. So you are a mother,
Yes.
a multi-business owner,
Yes.
a realtor,
Yes.
insurance agent,
Yes.
and a tax guru.
Yes.
Did I leave anything out?
I'm a notary.
Oh, a notary. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yes.
So the average person would say that you probably could have your own little island and be everything on the island.
Yes.
Is that possible?
Yeah. People tell me I should open up my own strip.
Oh,
I'm a financial coach
strip mall?
as well. Yes, strip mall.
Oh.
With all the different financial services.
Not a strip mall.
Yes, what they say.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't think y'all know, but I consider Miss Tiffany to be like the superwoman of everything. Every time I turn around, she's always opening up another business, and I'll be saying to myself, well, what's next? So then I was talking to her, and she was like, well, I'm thinking about doing something else. And I was like, what is that? So tell us what that is.
Well, y'all, she done put me on the spot.
All the time, because we on Straight to the
You
Point.
know what I'm saying? I ain't even announced it to the world yet. But what I'm about to do, actually, I am going to be opening up in 2024. I'm going to be opening up a practice. So what I'm going to do is I am going to become a certified holistic nutritionist coach. So I'm going to open up that practice because I think that that's very important. I think that, we should focus on natural ways to possibly cure the body that don't have side effects when we taking these actual medications, because you take medications that deal with the issue that you're having, but it's creating so many other issues that is it even really beneficial for you to take the medication. So that's just something that, I actually want to do. And really, to be straight to the point, I honestly was trying to partner with like nurses, nutritionists, and stuff like that. And I've been trying to do this probably for about 4 years. And unfortunately, nobody was really committed. So this is how I kind of did my research. And I said, well, let me just go ahead and do it. And that way I can elevate it to the level I wanted to go.
So we going to have a big strip mall, or are we going to have just one big building with all these different people called Tiffany?
How I'm going to clone myself?
I don't know.
I don't know. But you know what I'm going to do, though? So I'm definitely want to have one spot that they can come to locally. But the idea, too, is actually to branch it. So, I'm looking to expand it in Florida, and Oklahoma are going to be the first 2 other states that I'm going to expand it in.
So who is Tiffany Fuller?
Tiffany Fuller.
Okay.
I am. So I'm a mother of 6. I have 6 children, y'all. I got 5 girls, 1 boy, range from age 26 all the way down to 1. I don't know. I am I'm a financial nerd. You know, that's what I've always been, you know, even in school. I really love to help people, to pour into other people, to teach them how to elevate, to teach them how not to be stagnated by their finances, right? To be able to create that financial stability, right? So that's really what I like to do, you know, on the business side. On the personal side, I'm just goofy, right? That's why I'm always smiling. I love to be happy. You know, I'm just a people's person, you know, very genuine, you know. And I mean, that's just me. You know, I love to cook. I think I'm a chef, y'all. You know.
No. She really is. She really is. Making baby food and making cakes and
Yes.
Yeah, she is. She really is.
Yeah, but that's just me, you know, and I just love to enjoy life. I love entrepreneurship, right? Because with entrepreneurship, it really, even though entrepreneurship is definitely hard work and dedication, but it gives you that time freedom, right? That you can't get from nowhere else, right? And you're also in control of how much money you want to make. You're not capped. You're only limited on what you limit yourself to.
Now wait, so if you're not capped, are we gonna owe taxes?
Well, we're gonna put it like this.
Because, you know, if we're going to owe taxes, we can just bring everything over to the one-stop shop.
The one-stop shop. So now I do tell people this. Now, as a business owner, really, because, you know, a lot of people hear all these different things you can write off, right, when it comes to taxes. But the reality of it is the tax laws is not beneficial to people who work a W-2 job, right? It's really beneficial to the business owners. Now you get a lot of different tax breaks. You also can invest in your retirement. I mean, when I tell you all the things that don't make sense that y'all hear about, I never got to do that. You can actually write off as a business owner. Now, will you ever have to pay taxes? Yeah, probably. You know, because really the way that it works, the way the tax laws is designed, you honestly can't keep writing off all of your expenses, all your income at 100%, right? Because if you do that 3 out of 5 years, the IRS is going to deem that as a hobby, right? And then when you continue to do that, let's just say, I don't know, let's just say 3 years, you take a loss. Then the 4th year, you make a profit. So now in the 5th year, you're taking a loss. You can't take it at 100% again. You take it at 80%. So that constantly decrease. So eventually, yes, you will have to pay taxes, right? But is it such a bad thing? It really depends on, you know, how you look at it. How can that benefit you? Because some of the taxes you pay actually benefit you. You know, you're paying into Social Security. You're paying into Medicare, and, you know, these are the things that, you know, hopefully, if it's still around, you know, when it's time for us to get it, this is how they come up with your numbers, right? So you have to strategically plan and figure out, you know, what's the best way to do it. Now, but it's other ways you can invest into that, too, because I'm a believer of when it comes to investing in yourself, I'm more of a person where you need to invest into things that you control. Right? Because the reality of it is, yes, we have Social Security. Yes, we have Medicare, Medicaid. We have all of that stuff. But the government control it, even though it's funded with 100% of your money.
Wow.
Right? Because let's think about it. When you pay into Social Security. So as a business owner, if I'm paying myself and I'm paying into Social Security, I pay the employer side and the employee side.
Wow.
So that's 100%. But even when you work for somebody, remember they take half of that money out of your check, right? And then your employer pays the other half because you work for them. That's part of your package. So that's 100% of your money, but they control it at 100%.
Wow. Now, I know you have a business/brand.
Yes.
Called Financial Wellness.
Yes.
How was that created?
Well, let me tell you how financial wellness came about. So financial wellness, this is what happened. I remember growing up, right? We had a pretty decent life. We didn't, you know, we wasn't rich, right? But we wasn't struggling. Exactly. You know, we seemed to be okay. My mom was doing well. Even all my aunts, uncles, you know, we lived a pretty decent life. But what I started to realize as our parents got older, right? And our aunts, uncles, everybody got older, I realized that they knew how to go to work and make the money, but they didn't know how to make the money work for them. Right? So what happened was, as they get later in life, they getting older. I call them curveballs, right? Where they just start coming. I realized that they didn't have the financial backing to sustain everything they worked so hard for their entire life. So they started to lose everything. So I started to just try to analyze and try to figure it out. Like, well, dang, like they had money, they did this, they did that. And what I found out in my research, and really I studied my own people, they didn't have the financial education. They knew how to basically go to work and get the money, but didn't know how to make it work for them. So if they couldn't physically go to work and have the money coming in, they had nothing. They didn't have proper retirement.
Wow.
They had no type of residual income, nothing, no type of passive. They had nothing. They had nothing. So now it's, you bought this house, you about to lose the house. Or you got to sell the house and you got to go live with the kids. Or the kids got to move in with you.
So you're basically house poor.
Yep.
Because now you done got sick.
Yep.
And as they call it, you know, the curveballs of life.
Mm-hmm.
Because people don't realize that you could be the best fit and out of nowhere, something genetic can happen.
Oh, yeah.
And now
absolutely.
you sitting down and can't move and you have nothing.
Absolutely. And that's what they don't plan for. And that's too what I teach even in my retirement program, right? Because everybody wants to retire, but the question is, can you afford to retire? Because when you retire, everything you work so hard for, you have to be able to maintain that.
That same level.
You know, and I tell people this all the time. Listen, if you work your entire life to get the house, the cars you want, just your lifestyle, right? To create this lifestyle for you and your family and to leave a legacy for your kids. But if you retire and you can't maintain that, once you retire, then you failed.
Wow.
Right? Because in order to leave a legacy, it has to outlive you. You know, once you stop moving or now you going, everything shouldn't just dwindle away. That means you didn't do it right.
Wow. Wow. That's a wow. That's a big wow. And I say that because, you know, they say you're supposed to have an emergency fund and you're supposed to have a regular savings. And for those people that don't understand what emergency fund is, that should be minimum at least 6 months worth of your monthly bills.
Absolutely.
6 months.
Absolutely.
Flat out.
And you know what? The reality of it is most people say that they can't do it. I disagree.
Yeah, you got to sacrifice.
I disagree because if they really wanted it, just like you saved for 6 months, 2-3 years, to have this wedding, right? I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
You know, why are you paying $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 for a wedding?
Exactly.
You don't own a home. Your bank account, once the wedding over, it's in the negative. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense to me. You know, they saying that they can't or they don't have it. Well, why do the baby got an iPhone? Why?
And earbuds.
Okay.
Or what are they called? iPods?
And then you know what? When things really matter, because for people not understand, everybody don't make a certain amount of money. But the point is, when you really want something, they going to go through hot water to get it. Mm-hmm. You know, when Christmas time comes, for the people that do Christmas, they go and get 2 and 3 jobs, overtime to where they not even sleeping just to put presents underneath the Christmas tree. If you took that same energy and invested where it really matters, then you can live your life like that all year long and just not for the moment.
Wow. Ooh, that was heavy.
Oh, thank you.
And I say it's heavy because, you know, let's just say, for instance, if you do put the 6 months away and then you're able to still save, that requires a lot of sacrifice.
It does.
And a lot of people don't want to sacrifice. They would rather go and say, okay, well, I know I got to do this and I know I have to do that, but let me go get, let's just say, for instance, these $400 bundles.
Don't get me started. Seafood parties.
But next month, we not going to have no food. Because we didn't spend the food budget for a couple months. But realistically, next month, we not going to have no food.
That's what they do. That's what they do. Yeah, listen. And I tell people, too, you know, even when it comes to life insurance, right? You know, that's a way to create income security when you're not in a great financial position until you get to that particular point. You know, you can actually, so it's definitely tools out here that people can utilize, but they just don't take advantage of it. Life insurance is just not death. It's just not a death benefit. There's a lot of living components built into life insurance. And to be honest with you, if people really understood how that worked, they probably would kick my door down to make sure.
Okay, well, give us one component of it.
Oh, God, okay. Here go one. You can build your retirement in your life insurance policy. So one of my life insurance policies I focused on building my retirement in that life insurance policy. And you can you can build it how you want. Now, and of course, depending on what you do, is definitely a cost factor. With that, the way I built mine's out is I think I picked 54 or 55 to be able to retire. But I can change that. That's not etched in stone, right? I figured out how much I want every year when I retire. So that's how I build it out. And one of the great benefits of that is, guess what? It's not taxable because it's coming from a life insurance policy.
Wow.
Because a lot of people don't realize when you actually retire and, you know, they collecting, you know, pensions and other different retirement benefits, they have IRAs and stuff like that, a lot of those things are taxable. Because I swear I had people that retire and they be like, oh yeah, Tiff, I ain't got to pay taxes. Oh yes, you do. Who told you that? They still have to pay taxes. So that's definitely one of the benefits. Another benefit is, you know, you can build wealth in a life insurance policy and actually become they talk about, I don't know if people heard about it, where you kind of become your own bank with a life insurance policy. You know, and I try to tell all of my clients, I'm telling you, my clients that come in that's pregnant, I be like, look, this is what we're going to do when you had a baby, right? You know, everybody say they love their kids to death, right? And you want the best for your kids, right? This is one of the best things that you can give them is a wealth building policy. It's an IUL, Index Universal Life Policy, right? They're one of the best policies that you can, for yourself too, but for your children. And they have it set up where the way I did it for my kids is I did the one where I pay on it for 20 years. I even got it set up, God forbid, for the younger ones, you know, God forbid, if I ain't here for the 20 years, the money that I leave behind is going to pay that up, right? And I do that because the reality of it is if you're paying on that policy since birth, when they turn 20, most kids, they ain't responsible. They don't really understand the value of it. You know what I mean? They don't care. So how can I make sure that this policy sustain and do what it's supposed to do? Right? So I want to make sure, I don't want to transfer it over to them and they pay it because most of them are not going to. They're not going to pay it because they don't understand. You know, and at 20 years old, they think they're invincible and they never going to die. you know.
You're not lying.
So I did the 20-year pay. So after 20 years, that policy is paid up. But they can use that policy to, they want to buy a house, they can take from that policy. You know, if they wanted to start a business, they can take from that policy. You know, it's just so many different things that you can do. And a lot of people do that, especially a lot of people that's not in our community.
So why do you think the average insurance company does not speak on those type of policies?
To be honest with you,
is it because they may lose money? They don't want you to know?
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to put it like this. So we going straight to the point, right? Listen, because you know what? I think that some insurance agents, and this is just what I think, they're going to tell it to who they want to tell it to.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's always been around and they utilize it themselves.
I was about to say
right?
that.
And
I was
to be
about to say 9
honest
times
with you,
out of 10, they probably have the same policy.
Those policies are more money.
Wow.
Right? So as an agent, you're going to make more money, you know, off of those policies. But then too, I'm not going to say all of them. Because you got some people you try to tell, oh no, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, I'm going to pay the one that's $20. I ain't paying $80. I'm going to pay $20. Because they looking at they looking at the moment, right? You got to look at the value of it. Because even with me, what I do is, because sometimes some people can't, depending on how you want to build it out though, really. And that's why I tell people is, a lot of times I say, okay, how much do you want to spend realistically every single month? And then I'm going to let you know what options fit within your budget, because there's so many different options. But sometimes you'll have people, like I have clients who say, oh, Miss Tiff, I really want that type of policy, but right now they just can't afford it, right? So listen, you have different carriers where, okay, well, you know what, right now you can't do that, so we're going to do you a term policy, because they'll still also have living benefits with the policy, so that's another thing, even with a term policy. So we'll do a term policy because that's a lot cheaper, but we'll convert over as your financial portfolio grow. So what I'll do is I'll put them with a particular carrier who allow them to convert over when they're ready without going through the whole medical background and all of that stuff. Again, they can just do what's called the conversion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, learn something new every day.
But that's why I tell people, I try to give them all of the options and just be honest with me. Tell me what you want to do, because I know if you want to convert over, we want to put you with that particular carrier because you're healthy now, but you might be ready to convert over in 5 years, and now you might have a condition. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
this is why, just be honest so that we'll know which way to go for you.
That's a good one. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you
Yes.
to get any of those policies, how would they do that?
They will call me. They can call me. They can visit my website, And then I do have the business Facebook page. So if you leave a message on the business Facebook page, I have to emphasize business Facebook page, not my personal, because I really don't pay that no more. But a lot of people leave me messages on there, right? But if they leave that on there, because that's monitored, so they can get in touch with me that way.
Got it.
As well.
So tell us about Tiffany the mother, and Tiffany the mother versus Tiffany the businesswoman / business owner. And has any of your children followed in any of your footsteps?
Oh, that's a good question, Adelaide. Go ahead, girl. God, how can I would say as a business owner, I would say people say I'm very fair, I'm very nice. This is what they say, oh, you so fair, you so nice. And they was like, but boy, you'll fire me. But I'm stern,
But wait, so the nice person's supposed to still be there when it's time for you to be held accountable?
That's what they. So, but I would say, with me, I think I just really, back to what I said before, I really love helping people. And I think I would say one of my downfalls as a business owner is that sometimes I'll pour into that person more than they pour into their self. You know what I'm saying? Because I really want, success for them. So sometimes that's one of my downfalls. And I mean, even on the business side, even though it's business, it's more like a family-oriented type thing. I got over 200 tax preparers on the platform, and it's like they're all throughout the United States, and it's really family-oriented. Even though we're all not like blood-related. So it's even though it's a pretty nice size platform, it's not corporate style. I understand that we're all human. I understand that people have situations. It's different dealing with life situations as opposed to excuses. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that, and I just try to, live by that. I understand kids get sick. I understand people go through things, in life. And I mean, even with my business, we will get together, whether we're all on the phone, whether we get like on the Zoom or StreamYard, and we'll sit up there and pray. Like, what is the situation? Let's pray. And you know what? We will all jump in. If something is going on and somebody can't, do it, maybe let's just say taxes for their clients, right? Because they're going through something. We on the platform, we jump in and help them continue to stay strong while they go through what they're going through. So, And then as far as my kids, well, my son is actually the junior executive of the company. He's 24 years old. So he followed exactly in my footsteps. He does the taxes. He does the life insurance as well. But he got one up on me when it comes, because he does health insurance as well. I don't do health insurance. So, yeah, he actually took the exam. I got life and annuities. He has life, health, and annuities. So, yeah, he followed right into my footsteps. He's actually getting ready to take his test for real estate as well.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, my oldest, she's a fourth grade teacher, right? But, so she don't really work in the business. But I told her she need to know the business.
Yeah.
Right? You need to know the business, because if something happened to me, this is how y'all can still eat and y'all can sustain, right? So you have to understand what's going on and how that works. And I have her in the process of getting her insurance license. I said, even if you don't want to do insurance, but you're going to get the license, because if something happened to me, even with me retiring, right? I don't have to, go to the other side.
Are you doing that anytime soon?
What?
Are you retiring anytime soon?
No, not yet. But I'm making her get her license. I said, because I can will my book of business to them. So when I retire, I can give them my book of business. So I say, get your license. And what they do now is, let's say something happened to me, she don't have her license yet. They do give the children time to get the license. But that's now. That might not be the situation 10, 20 years from now. So, one of my philosophies is just be ready. Don't get ready when it's presented to you. You got to be ready. So that's why she's getting her license now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my 14-year-old, she does a lot of marketing material and like them voiceover videos and stuff for the business.
So she like the digital creator.
Yes. Yeah. So she does that, and my little ones, they just cute. They be models. They actually started. They didn't, of course, do a lot of stuff in the business. They'll do like little stuff. I let them stamp the tax returns, copy this, make copies of stuff. But they started their own business, and they started their own business not because I said, "Hey, start your own business." They came to me. They came to me in 2020 and said, "Hey, Mom, we want to start our own business." I said, "Why?" That's why I said, "Why?" And they say, oh, because you got a business and daddy got a business and my brother working a business. And that's what they see, right? And that's what people need to understand. People, your children will duplicate what they're around. You know, and that's what they know. That's how they speak, the terminology they speak. That's what they talk about. You know, I had a family member. It was so funny. We was at the family member house, and this person said, oh, Lord, I need a job. And the 8-year-old said, oh, you can come work for us. We can pay you.
Oh,
that's what they said.
well, what job was they gonna give her?
Yeah, they was gonna have her work at their store at True. She can pack up the orders and stuff because they shipped to all 50 states. That's what they said.
Wait. You know what? I'm done.
That's what they said.
And they are the Irish twins, right?
Yep. 8 and 9 years old, 11 months apart.
They look like they can be twins, but they the Irish twins.
Yep.
Wow. I seen them walking in the fashion show. I think at the hair salon, they had transformed the hair salon downstairs from the Cat Center, and they was tearing it up. Yeah. Had the sass and the look and the walk. I said, okay, little Tiffany's.
Listen, that's their thing, child, because I'm flicked.
So they little performers, business owners. So what's next for them?
And you know what? Let me tell you something I love about my children. And I'm not just saying this because they my children. They are, and all of them. You know, to have all of my children like that, who they're not selfish at all.
Wow.
They are not selfish at all. And do I spoil my kid? Yeah. I spoil all kids, to be honest with you. You don't want your kids spoiled, don't bring around me. You know, because I love children, right? And I love to feed into their spirit, you know, and if it's something that they're passionate about, we're going to run with it. You know, but they're not. You know, they're not like bratty, spoiled. You know, or if I'm going through something, or if I might say, oh, I need help with something, they don't hesitate. At none of them. And I said, wow, you know, that's just a blessing because, you know, a lot of times, especially when you got a bunch, you usually have at least one, but all of them are so warm-hearted, kind, and very giving. I said,
awesome.
oh, I guess y'all won't send me to a nursing home, huh?
Yeah, not the nursing home. Yeah. Not the nursing home.
Listen, they do that, though. They do that.
But that's normally how we think of it, too. Like, oh, we better treat these kids right or they're going to put us in the home.
And you know what, though? Sometimes you can treat them right, and sometimes that's just their personality. So to me, that's why I'm like, God, it's really a blessing to have, you know, for all of them to be that way. You know, because that's another thing. Listen, I tell people, you have to understand your children. Know your children. They're all not going to be the same. They all have their own individual personalities.
Yes, they do.
So I even tell them, even when it comes to life insurance, right? Because naturally, right, with life insurance, beneficiary, they want to put all of their children. All right, that's all good and dandy. Why they minors, right? But as they start to grow up and you recognize their personalities, you may want to alter that a little bit. Not saying that you don't care about them, right? But, I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. We going straight to the point, right?
Exactly. We going straight to the point.
If you got a child that's a crackhead, you don't want to leave, you know, 50, 60, 70,000. Right, because what they going to do?
Yeah, they going to burn it.
And that's just the reality of it. Or if they have a gambling problem, they have some type of illness or sickness, right, that causes them to go through money like that, you don't want to give it to them.
Yeah, you want to have like a trust or something where somebody is controlling that money for them.
That's the honest to God truth, right? You don't want them to lose their self because of that. You know, at that point, once you are an adult, you don't just get it because you my child. Because much as I love you, I'm not legally responsible for you anymore. You're supposed to be able to stand on your own.
This is true.
Right? And, you know, I just had a conversation, you know, because the one lady, she said, well, you know, I kind of disagree with that. And, you know, that's what's wrong with the black community and stuff like that.
We put our kids right out.
Nah, listen. And I didn't put my kids out. I said, but the reality of it is you have to teach your children to be able to stand independently of you because one day you're not going to be here.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And as much as I love my children, and I do it all the time, especially the older kids, they ask me stuff. I swear to goodness, I go just like this. Well, what would you do if I was dead? Oh, and they be like, Mom. I'm like, seriously, I need you to try to figure this out.
Yeah.
Right? I need you to try to figure this out, and then we can work together on it. Because you have to. Don't sit up there and take advantage. Even if you got a parent or parents that can sustain and still carry you. Listen, whether you the child or not, and you 25, 26, you freeloading. Get out there and you get a job. And then especially the ones that have a nerve to be disrespectful. You grown and you gonna be disrespectful?
You definitely gotta go.
You got to go. No, and you ain't getting your own room. Go in the room with the dog.
Oh.
For real.
Not with the dog.
Listen, because that's the thing. It's like, don't take advantage. Mm-hmm. Because one day they're not going to be here. And I've seen it happen where the parents end up dying. The child has left the house paid for. They can't even afford to pay the taxes.
Exactly. And they
Next
lose
thing
it.
you know, exactly.
And they lose it.
Exactly.
Or,
like that kind of stuff.
or they go take out
me
one of them
off.
payday loans and they take the house right from under them.
There you go. And it's just like, you know what? Because I know you care about your let's just say it was the mom that left you in the house. You care about your mother, but yet you just disappointed her. You see what I'm saying? Like, when you have to face her again, she might smack you.
Worked all her life
You
for
know
that
what
house.
I'm saying? It's just like, come on. And I say that, people say, well, it's hard, it's this, it's that. Listen, my motto is no excuses. Like, no matter what you say, because people say to me, oh, I can't do this, I got kids. I say, well, I had 5 for a long time, now I got 6. So I used to always say, well, so what? I got 5 kids, come again. You get what I'm saying? People say, oh, well, I lost my mom or I lost my dad. Guess what?
I lost mine too.
I lost my mom. And I've always been an entrepreneur, but when I was going to go 100%, like on my own 100%, y'all know tax season start January. I lost my mom in December. And people was like, oh, no, I would have gave up. Why? You know what I'm saying? Because the reality of it is, much as I would love for my mom to be here, me giving up is not going to bring her back.
Nope.
Right? And then also I look at it like this. My mom sacrificed a whole lot, and she worked so hard for me and my brother. Right? So I don't want her to feel like everything she worked so hard for went up in vain. I want her to still be cheerleading for us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's them. You get what I'm saying? Because that's the reality of it. Because you can't lose yourself with that, because much as we may not like the fact of death, that's a part of life.
Yeah.
Right? And you have to be able to live beyond that.
That's the one thing we'll never be able to escape.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Everybody's gonna visit that area at some point in their life. Everybody.
And you don't know when.
No one has eternal life.
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what would you say to a younger group of ladies? Like, if you had to do like a little presentation, how would you start the conversation of trying to, one, get them on a great path of financial success, and 2, letting them know that as soon as you're able, you have to get some form of life insurance?
Well, I would honestly tell them, I don't even think I would say when you're able. I say you need to do it now. Right? Because you just never know what tomorrow may bring. Right? You could be 20 and perfectly healthy. Let's just say it's January. I don't know. In June, you get hit by a car.
Oh.
Seriously. And this is I'm using hit by a car as an example, but I actually had somebody that happened to. Very, very good friend of mine. And he kept telling his sister, you better call Tiffany. You better call Tiffany and get the life insurance policy. Mind you, I did the quote and everything young. She was only in her 20s. She was going to get a term policy. God, it wasn't no more than $30 a month. I think it was 6 figures. I don't remember the exact number, but it was a nice amount of money. And this policy had living benefits, which means, God forbid, while you're still living, you have some type of critical illness, terminal illness, or you're injured to the point where you can't perform daily life duties. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't stand, you can't properly feed yourself. Then you can pull from those actual living benefits, right? So she actually really ended up getting hit by a car right on 9th Street.
Wow.
And when she got hit by the car, I'm talking about it tore her up. She was, at that point, she's doing good now, but she was wheelchair bound for a minute. Her hip was broke. Her arm was she was jacked up. But the point of that is, let's just say, I don't remember the face amount, but let's just say she had a $150,000 policy. With the living benefits, she could have pulled up to 95% of that $150,000
To live off of.
Absolutely. So,
and is that, let me get this right, is that portion non-taxable?
yeah, nope, that's not taxable.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So, with that, so I tell people, get it now, right? Because you just never know what may happen. You can get diagnosed with something. I just hear it all the time. Somebody else, she was 30. Yeah, because we same age. She was 30 at the time. And she came to me, and she just started crying. So I'm crying. I didn't even know what she was crying for. You cry, I cry. That's how that's how I am. And I'm like, and she told me, she said, listen, I know I procrastinated. We're getting the life insurance. She said, so, I got diagnosed with cancer. She said, so I can't get it, and this was back then. She said, but Tiffany, please tell me, what can I do? to make sure that my daughter is okay.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So we got her daughter an IUL. You know, I said IUL policy. You know, and then I said, the good thing is, I said, listen, this was years later, though. Because now you also have companies where it's hard when you have certain sicknesses, right, to get life insurance policy.
Yeah, because they ask you all that
that's
stuff.
not a final expense policy.
Yeah,
but they got carriers now. And if you are, let's say you had cancer, but you've been cancer-free for 2 years, girl, you can get the policy. Like you can get it used to be 10 years. Some carriers now do it 2 years.
Wow.
And you can get it. You know, and the sad part is most people don't value investing in their self until something like that happens.
So they're reactive and not proactive.
There you go.
Wow. Well, I have life insurance. So do all 3 of my children.
I know you do.
But I'm thinking about keeping what I have currently. Because, you know, you can never have too much. But I'm thinking about getting me one of, what is it, IUD? IUL. Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
Listen. IUL, IUD, whatever I got to do to get me. Listen.
And I even tell people, you know, listen, even if you have a policy, I'll review your policy. If it's a good policy, it's a good policy. Like, I'm not one of those people, come over here. If it's a good policy, it's a good policy. Now I'm going to tell you, if you come to me, though, and you got a policy that's just a death benefit, I'm going to tell you, it's just a death benefit. So what happened while you still living?
Yeah.
What happens while you're still living, right? And you're going through things, you know, because things happen.
So a death benefit policy will be considered what, like a term policy?
No, it can be. It can even be a whole lifestyle policy too. But it's just some companies don't have living benefits in the policy. Some companies don't have it where you can build the retirement. So
I would think that they would lose business, but then they're probably not because the average person is not aware.
Yeah, they're not aware.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, they're not aware of it. Yep. But I tell people that all the time because a lot of times when you're facing things, let's just say, I don't know, since we said cancer, let's just say somebody get diagnosed with cancer, right? And you're trying to get better. A lot of times it's not the sickness that kill you, it's the stress, right? Because now you out of work, you got medical, but the medical ain't paying for everything.
Tons and tons of bills coming in the mail.
There you go. Now they said, house about to go up for foreclosure. They done you looked outside, they done repoed the car. They about to cut off the electric. These are real life scenarios, right?
I'm sitting here in shock, but this happens to a person every day.
Yeah, every single day. Every day, because no matter what you're going through, even if you're not capable of doing what you would normally do, the bills and everything is still coming. So how do you make sure that you have that financial stability so that you can maintain, right? And continue to live on. And I'm telling you, it help you could you imagine you sick and all you gotta do is worry about getting better? You ain't gotta worry about paying for nothing.
You just call them, you just make that phone call.
Everything paid for. You know,
so
and
this sounds like that's better than Affleck.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's better than Affleck with the little duck running around.
And Affleck is cool, right? But yes, it's definitely, and it's like a limited.
Yeah, Affleck is more like a working benefit.
But you know what? They even got with Affleck, they have oh God, but I know it's an age restriction on it. You can actually pay on an insurance where when you become pregnant and you bear your child, girl, they pay you while you're out on maternity leave. Now we can't get it; we too old.
Oh wow! But wait, what you mean we too old? We still can bear children.
We can, but we too old.
Oh, that's terrible. So what's the age limit? What's the cutoff?
I don't remember, but I do know it's a.
We can't lie and tell them our age at different age. No, but what am I saying? I'm not trying to bear no more children. I'm sorry.
I ain't trying to bear none either, Lord.
Not with my last being a high schooler. I'm sorry.
I love my baby. She 1 year old, Lord, but that was.
And they be having a milk shortage, and the diapers be breaking the kids out. Cause I know when I was coming up, I couldn't wear those processed diapers as they call them. I had to wear cloth. Can you imagine?
Washing them,
cloth,
and you just stinking in the cloth
with a whole
don't make no
the
sense.
Big safety pins on the side. Listen, can you imagine? I said to my mother, I don't know how you did it.
Yeah, that's how.
You go to comb my hair, shrivel up with some grease and water. Then I can't even wear the diaper. What else couldn't I do? Then she told me I was chewing on sponge rollers, eating on a sponge roller.
Oh, LA. What? Now, why you?
Girl.
You know what?
Listen, I probably needed life insurance back then. Eating on a sponge roller. Can you imagine choking on that?
Oh,
Oh, my God. But anyway,
That's
yeah.
funny.
So I'm coming over there to let me get it right, the IUL, not the IUD, because the IUD is a thing for the birth control, and the IUL is for the insurance policy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
IUL, IUD.
It's,
Try and get it
it's
right.
definitely, and even if I tell people, even if they, I mean, it's your personal preference, but even if you don't want that type of policy, I definitely say have something where you at least have living benefits.
Okay, so really quick, the Gerber insurance, is that a good insurance? Because I know they send those pamphlets out, they give them to you when you're leaving the hospital. It's like they're paying everybody to promote this insurance. So is that a good insurance?
What I'm going to say is Gerber is an insurance company that may not be the best option.
So that sounds like they don't pay out.
No, I'm not going to say they don't pay out.
Okay.
The best thing would be is to really get with an agent, right, that can explain to you, and I am available, but that can explain to you the different options, right? And what does that mean and what does that entail?
And what's best to suit you and your family?
What's best to suit you. And another thing you want to look at is, because there's policies out here where they advertise how the policy grows, right? They kind of will you in that way. Oh, you'll have this and you'll get this and this happens at this age. And it's like, is it really feasible? People need to really, and I can't even say that people are being misled, right? Because they're really not being misled. People don't read.
Oh, wait. Wait, say that again. Say that part again.
People are not being misled. They don't read. Because if you look at your policy, it'd explain to you everything that they was telling you. And if you pay attention, you can look at it and say, oh, well, yeah, this is good. This makes sense. Well, I might want to talk to somebody about this one. You see what I'm saying? But people, they don't read. They really don't understand what they have. You have, unfortunately, you have even agents out here, right? And this is not to shade any type of agents. This go for anybody. I don't care what type of job you have. The reality of it is when people have a job or a career, it's some people who are very passionate about what they do. And it's just some people that just have a job and they just trying to put a paycheck in their pocket.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the things that you have to look at. They're the things that you want to value. Is this really the best option for me as your client, right? Or is this the best option for you so you can feed your family next week?
Wow.
So that's just the honest to God truth.
That makes sense. So I'm gonna tell you about my brief nightmare that I just had. So my insurance agent, my homeowner's insurance agent, called me. Adelaide, I just wanted to give you a little courtesy call to let you know that, your homeowner's insurance is going up by 50%.
50%?
Wait, 50. So I said, wait. Now, mind you, I'm working from home. I'm a little stuck now, 50%. And he was like, yeah, that's due to the gas and that's due to the lumber. I said, but I haven't filed the claim. What do that have to do with me? Mm-hmm. He's like, well, I just wanted to give you heads up now. I don't want you to go to, I don't want to lose you as a customer, but I can understand if you switch to something else. He was like, well, I can also get your percentage off if, you bring your car insurance business over here. I said, well, I've been with State Farm for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, just send me a quote. Just send me a quote. So then when he sends it, some of the things that I know I already have weren't on there. So I reached back out to him. I said, well, can you give me a quote for blah, blah, blah? But I didn't say that until he called me. I said, oh, look, I was about to call you, but you called me first. So I said, I gave you my business because you were lower than my last insurance. And that was 5 years ago. I said, and then on top of that, I lost my grandfather $500 deductible. Mm-hmm. He said, oh, I'm glad you said something about that. Your deductible is $200 because every year you don't file a claim, it goes down. Mm-hmm. I said, but what is the $200 going to do for that 50% increase? Mm-hmm. $613. It went up.
Oh, wow.
So I contacted my, car insurance. And he, too, because I have life insurance over there and car insurance. He was like, well, if you come, if we get your business, we can give you a 35% discount. Mm-hmm. So lost in translation, I never got the email because he put my email address in wrong. He thought it wasn't supposed to be Evans. It was supposed to be Evan. I said, this man is something my personal business to somebody. So I called him and said, George, what's up? He was like, I sent that quote the next day, Adelaide, because he older. I sent that quote the next day, Adelaide. So I'm like, but I didn't get it. He said, well, check your spam. I said, it's not there. He's like, well, tell me, your email address. So I tells him, he like, oh, it went to the wrong person, but I'm gonna send it to you right now. He said, well, we beat them out about $500. I said, what? Mm-hmm. Sign me up. Where I got to sign up at? So he said, well, first, You got to call them, cancel, get the refund. Because I didn't even know that my homeowners, my mortgage company had already sent the information, the checkout.
Yeah, they do.
But lo and behold, I canceled, baby, and they gave me all my money back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I thought they was going to deduct. You know how people be deducted. Gave me all my money back.
Yeah, they
all
absolutely got to give you
$1,837.
Yep.
I said, look at that.
Yep.
So yeah, I say all that to say that you do have to do your due diligence. Mm-hmm. You have to pay attention to what's going on, and you're basically everybody when it comes to managing your own life.
Oh yeah,
the nanny,
absolutely.
The cook, the nutritionist, the broker.
And you know what? Let me tell you this. I want to say this because we going straight to the point. I like that. I'm just gonna keep saying that, straight to the point. Sorry, but because another thing when it comes to God, just insurance in general. Now you're talking about your homeowners insurance, just like renters insurance. It's crazy because listen, I had somebody. This is the stories. Their house caught on fire. Then they called me. They wanted to get. It's too late. It's too late. Why don't you have?
So what they want you to backdate the policy?
Girl, they want. I need to get a policy. It's too late. It's too late. You have
the house caught on fire. Now they want to call you.
Yeah, you got to secure your position prior to that. And people don't think that it's important until they actually need it.
I don't think people take life in general as being important.
But
a lot of us are living for just a moment.
This is the thing, and this is what I say. And some people say that I'm insensitive, right? And it's different.
No,
it's different.
You just
with
straight
being
to the point.
Insensitive, exactly, straight to the point. Speaking the truth, right? Because it's like when it comes to life insurance, and I'm gonna tell you straight up, I told my entire family, listen, you ain't got to get insurance with me, but you should definitely have insurance. And if you go before I do, I'm not paying for your funeral. You know what I'm saying? And that's not being insensitive. It's just a sensitive moment. Because, see, my thing is, if you was irresponsible with paying for what you should have done, right, how does that becomes the people that have outlived you their responsibility?
Yeah. I've heard, I've had people say to their children, I'm not getting no life insurance. That's going to be on y'all when I die. Now, if you need to put me in Pottersfield, you do what you have to do. And for those of y'all that don't know what Pottersfield is, that's behind Fair Acres. But you can put me in Pottersfield if that's what you choose to do, but I'm not paying for that.
And see, and you know what? And that's just people don't understand it because, again, they look at it as just a death benefit. Like, it's so much more to it. Yeah,
well,
it's so much
I'm
more
coming
to
over
it.
To get the IUL.
Come on, honey.
Not the D, the L.
But I tell people all the time, like I have people that come to me, people that will vent, oh, that's messed up, like I had the one young lady, she lost her mom. And, the mom didn't have life insurance. So she went to her father, was like, well, mom passed away, he had money. So she felt he should pay for it. And she got attitude. And I said, they not married.
That's not his responsibility.
And I said, they not married. That's not his responsibility. They have not been together in years, but he has the money. But it's still not his responsibility.
Exactly.
Like, you can't put that on him. You know what I mean? The best thing that you can do is make sure that you're not in that situation. Because you mad at him. Well, you ain't got the money to pay for it. Or do you got the money to pay for it? You see what I'm saying?
Trying to keep her money and spend the daddy's money.
At that point, it's the person you should be mad at is the one that's going.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality, because guess what? Listen, when you got 3 and 4 cars and rims on your cars and you taking your kids every year when you get your taxes, you taking your kids to Disney and all types of stuff. I don't never understand that. I do so many people taxes and people getting $8, $9, $10, $11, $12, $13,000 refunds. Get an insurance policy and pay for the year. And then by the time it's time for you to pay again, you getting another.
But wait, with that amount of money,
refund.
You can pay for like 3 years.
Yeah, but I'm just like, do something that matters. I'm not saying you can't enjoy yourself, but to waste your refund, it just drives me crazy. And I mean, remember when, oh my God, what year was that? Remember they was giving out when the people was buying the houses and they were giving that $8,000 credit for people. So these people getting $30,000 refunds, some people. I swear to God, the year later they come back, they done lost the house. Now, they done got you in this house. You barely paid anything. They gave you this awesome tax credit, right, where you got an additional $8,000, even though it kind of sucked, right? Because when they first did it, the $8,000, the people had to pay it back. Then they changed it. It was like 2 weeks later. So the people who got it after the 2 weeks didn't have to pay it back. But the point is, they put you in this position and you lost it. You come to me next year, you don't. How you lose the house already? That means you ain't never paid a mortgage.
Wait. It had to be something else though, because the mortgage company will work with you.
Listen,
They have financial distress programs.
In a year, they couldn't have paid a mortgage the whole year because too it takes a while to get to foreclosure. That's not something that happens overnight.
Yeah.
That's the same thing I tell people when they owe the IRS. Oh God, they done garnished my wages. Well, that's just what you get. Then that's just what I say, because you want to know why? As much as don't nobody like the IRS, don't nobody want to pay the IRS, but for them to garnish your wages, it takes a while for them to get to that point. It don't happen overnight. You know, it's usually 2 to 3 years down the line. Wow. That means you just ignored them. You ain't do nothing. You ain't attempt to do nothing. Now they got you.
Wow.
Yep. And then they procrastinate, and then they act like they shocked. Oh my God, somebody took it. I don't owe nobody no money. Oh, well, I just looked it up. Didn't you owe the IRS A, B, and C? Oh, girl, yeah, child, I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. They gonna take their money.
I'm done.
But you literally, it's like, you know what? At that point, you get what you get because they give you ample opportunity to really work something out with them.
Oh, they do.
They do. Same thing with student loans.
They do.
They do. They give you the opportunity, but if you ignore them, they don't think they're gonna go away.
They're the government. Coming. They're the government.
They're coming. Yeah.
So what's next for Tiffany?
Well,
besides the strip mall,
you know what? Well, I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna just get straight to the point. What's coming up immediately? So, so after this tax season, you know, me and the children, we're gonna be doing quite a bit of traveling. We're gonna be in Florida probably for like a month. I actually have quite a bit of offices in Florida. And then, now remember how I was telling you how we become like family oriented? Mm-hmm. Man, we built this. Let me tell you, God, my sisters, and I don't have any biological sisters, but these are my sisters, Elaine and Vivian. They both in Florida, but they live in different areas in Florida. So my kids is actually going to go with Vivian for 2 weeks. Okay. So I'm going to have a break. And then after that, we're going to all go and be with, you know, Elaine and her family.
Oh,
but
wow.
It's like, you know what, they my family. You know, and I'm going to also head to Kentucky and Oklahoma as well. Yeah.
Sound like we're scouting out some offices in Kentucky and Oklahoma.
We have one.
Okay.
Yep. And then, gosh.
So as Candy Burr said, I'm worldwide.
You worldwide. And then, you know, I'm wanting to, a good friend of mine who also does taxes and stuff as well. Talking about doing a trip to Italy. Yeah, so we're gonna see how they go. Trying to put that.
Oh
put
wow,
that
that'd
together.
be nice.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing, man. Just trying to enjoy.
I want to go to Santorini, Greece. I'm gonna get there.
And it's like, you know, just to be able to show your kids different things.
Yeah.
You know, like let's, you know, live outside the box. Live outside your neighborhood.
Outside the neighborhood.
You know, because some people don't know outside their neighborhood. You know, because now we in Pennsylvania, Delaware, right here. Some people ain't even never been to Delaware. Now, that sounds crazy, but it's actually really true.
Wow.
You know, and I try to teach, just not my children, but just children, you know, and people, period, right? Position yourself to be able to do the things that you want to do, as opposed to being forced to what you are able to pay for. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, I'm going to get this house right here, not because I really want it, but this is the only thing that I can afford.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and if you don't know how to, some people don't know how to get into the other cycle when it comes to finances, right? But I tell people you can't be lazy though, right? Because the one hard thing is if you're not an entrepreneur, right? You can, if you don't have an entrepreneur mindset, you can dwindle your way out. Because if you starting a business, nobody's telling you what time to get up, when you got to be to work, what time you leave. Like, you're totally in control. So I tell people, look in the mirror when you become an entrepreneur. Would you fire yourself? And be honest with yourself. Because you can have a business all day, but if you ain't never open,
you don't have a business.
You ain't got no business. You know, and when you first start out, you have to put in that time, that dedication, right? And it's like, you know, when you get the money, that don't mean just spend it. Because that's what I have people who, oh my God, I do bookkeeping for some people.
Oh.
Right, and you know, oh girl, I ain't made no money this year. I ain't made no money. Well, yes, you did, because I did your books and showed me here that your gross $250,000. What? Because, and you know why they don't realize it? Because as fast as the money's coming in,
It's going right back
it's going
out.
right out their hands. So they don't even really see it. You know, and a lot of times people say, oh, well, shoot. You know, because you'll have some people, let's just say, depending on what they do, let's just say they make $500 a day, right? I'm going to say $500 a day. So to them, it's just like, okay, well, I'm going to get at least $500 tomorrow. So they spend it and spend it and spend it and not realizing, you know, what they doing. But entrepreneurship is the best thing in the world, if you ask me, you know, because it gives you control. And even with my kids, because people think I put my kids homeschool. Oh, God, well, you don't know. No, I get time. But even with that, my kids can run their business. We're able to travel when we want to. We don't have to do it, you know, when they just got spring break.
We can do schoolwork anywhere.
Yeah, we can do it from anywhere. You know, so it gives them that, you know, sense of freedom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So it was a pleasure to have you as my guest. I more so wanted you to, you know, take a deep dive into the life insurance because, you know, the community that we're living in, the average person, like you said, doesn't get life insurance until either in a near-death experience, the doctor just said your arm about to fall off, so you better run and get whatever you have to get. And I think it's very important that children have life insurance once they've come out the womb.
Yes.
And I know for my children, they've had that since, as I call it, knee-high to a duck.
Right.
So this segment did accomplish what I needed us to accomplish. And
Thank you.
Hope that, you know, a person takes away from this that we do have someone in the community that we can trust to get us the right policy, to fit our needs, to fit our budget, while also being fair and upfront with us.
Yeah.
Because
There you go.
oftentimes we be our biggest downfall.
Yeah.
We'll
that's
go
true.
to someone that we think we can trust. They'll beat us out of our money. It'll be a scammer insurance company where they're coming to pick up the money every week, and you know no insurance policy needs to get paid every week. So, you know, I want the audience to know that they do have someone.
Absolutely.
I want them to know that you're local.
Yes, I am.
You're actually what you would consider. You're actually what your slogan says: a one-stop shop.
Yeah, your one-stop financial
One-stop
shop.
shop.
Boom.
You need a house,
Yeah.
she got you.
There
you
you
need some
go.
insurance, she got
Yeah.
you. I
And
just found out
definitely-
if you
and
need
tell
something
people-
notarized, she got you.
And tell the people, listen, when you have insurance, that's not the first thing you cancel when you go into a financial hardship, because that's what's going to help you get out of it if you got the right type of policy. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people, they ready to cancel. You know, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's just too important. And, you know, when you're dealing with agents and stuff like that, like me, I am very open. I'm honest, you know, because the thing is, I want you, even if I am your agent, right? I want you to, God forbid something happened to me, you got to understand what's going on beyond what I'm telling you.
Exactly.
Right? And do your research. If you're dealing with somebody, and this in any type of business, not just with insurance, and they not telling you nothing. You don't know what's going on. You just hear what they saying. You know, but physically you have no evidence of nothing. That should tell you to run. Same thing with taxes. Now, they done did your taxes. You ain't got a copy of your tax return. You don't know how much you getting back. No, you don't know nothing. All you know is, well, she told me I was getting $5,000 back, but when I put $5,000 and they keep telling me that I'm wrong when I'm going on, where's your refund?
Wait.
Because you was really getting $6,000
wait.
back.
I'm trying to get to the rant,
What?
but I got to put this one part in there. I seen on social media today that someone was like, oh, you know, I saw that my taxes was supposed to be 65, blah, 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 and I'm only getting like $4. I know this woman ain't take almost $1,800 from you to file my taxes.
Yeah. I had, oh my God, real quick, I had this lady who came to me 2 years ago, right? So she's been 3 years ago. So she's been coming to me, and she had a business tax return. So I had told her, I said, well, it's $450. You know, she said, oh my God, that's a lot of money. I said, really? I said, well, I'm looking at your last year's tax return, because I always look at their last year's tax return. I said, I'm looking at your last year's tax return. You paid this lady $999. And I said, and this was before the bank fees came out, when they take the fees out of your refund. She said, oh my gosh, she charged me that much? Yes. She said she only told me, and she only told her the amount that she was getting back after all the fees come out.
Of course.
Now, I'm telling you, whatever your amount is, that's what I'm telling you prior to any fees coming out, if you're getting them take out of your refund.
Wow.
So, like, these are the type of things and you also want to deal with somebody who you can contact all year round, because taxes don't end on April 15th. IRS is still working. They sending out letters. So you have to watch that. You want to make sure that they available. And this go for major franchises too. Because where Jackson, Hewitt, and Liberty at when tax season
They
over?
closed.
They gone.
They
April
closed.
15th, April 16th, the door locked. They gone. Building empty.
And everybody's laid off.
And then H&R Block, they have all year round hours, but it's very limited. It's almost impossible to get somebody.
Wow. Wow.
You know, so these are the things that you want to look for and pay attention to. And you need to understand what people is putting on your tax return. Listen, if you going to somebody, you know you ain't had no job, how you get an $8,000 refund?
And you only worked a month.
You ain't even got a job.
Oh.
Or you made $1,000. Like, come on now. And then when they get the letter from the IRS, they want to come to companies like mine, Financial Wellness. Can you help me? I didn't know. You knew. You knew something. You knew something. It don't even make sense. You didn't work for 3 days and, stop that,
Not 3 days.
And get a 10,000. Seriously though. But then I have some people that are very honest that come to me. Well, I ain't gonna say very honest because they went with it, but they say, "Oh, I went to such and such." You know, and
can you?
I
fix
don't
my
understand.
taxes?
I don't understand how I got a refund because I didn't even work last year. And they was like, "So I don't want to deal with that person no more."
Wow.
You know, these are the things. Listen, and nobody can never. If you see somebody advertising taxes and they say guaranteed this amount, if you got this amount of kids, they doing something they ain't got no business doing. Because you can't guarantee nothing because taxes is a numbers game. So just to give an example, I got 6 kids and I owe every single year with all 6 kids on there.
And the businesses.
Yes, and with the business expenses, I still owe. So that does not necessarily mean that I'm going to get a refund or I can't guarantee unless I am fudging it a certain way to make it fall into a certain tax bracket.
Wow. Well, y'all heard it straight from the horse's mouth, as they would say. The financial guru over here, that you know it's very important to go to the right person. And Miss Tiffany Fuller is the right person.
Thank you.
So if you need her, she's at Financial Wellness, the one-stop shop.
Yes.
Now, on to this rant. Oof, I don't even know if I want to even dish out this tea. Ugh.
Uh-oh. Sally Wally.
All right, so for those of you that don't know, tonight is the first meeting of the year of the 7 p.m. Chester City Council meeting. Normally I'm there, but I'm running my show, so I'm here. So I'm going to give you as much information as I can give you from the meeting if they're actually going to follow the agenda that was posted Monday. Because if you didn't know, they have a deliberative meeting on Monday, which is basically their agenda meeting. They go over different things, and then that agenda is written out. Sometimes the agenda will change from Monday to Wednesday. So you can have it printed out and ready to go, and then you get to the council meeting. It's either something added or something subtracted. So this particular meeting, there should have been 10 agenda items. Now, the first agenda item is they will be switching a position for Mr. Leonard Leitner. And for those of you that don't know, he is currently our chief of staff. He is a person that is designated. He is the person who will be overseeing the whole city hall. So they will be talking about his position, the first agenda item. The second agenda item is the authorization of signers to be changed for whoever can sign on our bank account. So we have a bank account with Santander. So they have changed. I don't know how many people were authorized signers before, but we now have 4. So Mr. Leonard Leitner will be the first one. The second one will be the deputy chief financial officer. The third one will be the accountant, and the fourth one will be the treasurer. Now, if you want all of this information, you can go on the city's website. You can click on deliberative/council meeting, blah, blah, blah. You click on that. You hit on March the 6th, and they'll give you all this information if you want to view it yourself. The next item that they're going to be discussing is the RFP for a parking. It just says RFP for parking. So they're trying to contact someone to actually do a parking study of the city of Chester. Now, I know you're thinking, well, we just had a parking authority. Shouldn't this have already been done? You're correct. It should have been, but it was not. So now they're going to go about doing it the right way so they can attract the right person to come in and oversee the parking situation for Chester. Now, the one component that was in the last one that's not going to be in this one, Widener University will not be included. Yes, you heard it correctly. Widener University will not be included. So I'm wondering, are they going to go over there and take all them poles down that they put up when they were trying to put the meters up the first time? I'm hoping. Y'all hoping? I'm hoping. Because a lot of those meters were put on private property, and I always wondered how you can just roll up, prop in a metal pole on someone's private property when it's their private property. Okay, maybe because of the street? I don't know. Okay. Then they're also going to be appointing 3 new board members for the CETA board, and they're also going to be appointing 2 new board members for the CRA. Now, The biggest component of this meeting that has my nerves a little shattered, and it's been since I've read all this information, is the expenditure list. Now, for those of you that may have been or watched the council meeting last time, there was a lot of fireworks over the last expenditure list. The reason being is Councilman Roots voted no. There were some things on there that he didn't agree with. There were some things on there that he needed to be explained, and he basically said no. So a resident came up and challenged him to see why he said no, and then that's when the fireworks happened. If you want to watch that meeting, go back. It's on there. It's on the website as well. Now, this current expenditure list is over $900 and something thousand. Now, I want to say that's for 1 month, but I'm not sure because it doesn't say. But I'm just going to assume it's for 1 month. The biggest thing on this expenditure list that's bothering me, because you all know we're in bankruptcy, the biggest thing that's on this list that's bothering me is the fact that someone is trying to get reimbursed for an Eagle celebration party. Yes, you heard me correctly. Someone on there is trying to get reimbursed for an Eagle celebration party in the office. Now, you would think this particular person would have said, okay, so, I have a nice house. Why don't everybody come over? I'll invite you over. We'll get some wings. We'll get some hoagies. We'll get some apple juice. No, we got to do it in the office. And, I'm going to pay out this $288, and I want to be reimbursed. We're in bankruptcy. We technically don't have any money. That's one of the reasons why we're in bankruptcy. I'm not understanding why some things that are on that expenditure list are even on there. Could we not have sent someone to the trophy place to ask them if they could sponsor the trophies for the Heritage Ball for the kids? There's about 8 or 9 lawsuits on there. I'm assuming the city has been sued, so now we're paying fees. So if you want to go and see this particular 3-page expenditure list, which is very clear, it gives you all the information, that is also on the website. Now, me personally, since I'm paying my share of the 3.75 highest wage tax in Pennsylvania, I don't appreciate no one getting reimbursed for an office party, because they could have had that on their own time, or that money could have been donated. Now, there is also, Delaware County is looking for youth to do a Juneteenth logo. Now, you can go on the county's website and get all this information. I think there's going to be a prize. They'll upload the logo to their Juneteenth celebration type situations. So that's also a good thing for the children, because we have a lot of artists in the city of Chester. They always say nothing good comes from here, and that's not true. A lot of good comes from here, because we're resilient. So, nothing but good is going to come from here. Marcus Hook is also hosting the same type of artistry, but they're looking for something environmental. So you can go on Marcus Hook Neighbors at gmail.com for all of that information, where to submit, who's eligible. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up this particular event is because they've also included the 19013 zip code. Not to say that I would not promote it, but I like the fact that they are our neighbors and they're also including our children inside of this. One, because we're all being affected by the environmental elements that's in Chester. They're our neighbor, but they're even more closer to the refinery than we are. There's also going to be a all-white fashion show in Chester on March the 11th. The tickets are only $25. There's a lot of people that I have saw that's going to be there. It's going to be a fabulous event. Now, the little drawback is it's still a little cold and you have to wear all white, but I'm sure they have some winter whites you can wear. Although, when we were coming up, they said, don't wear white after Labor Day. There's also going to be a women's conference at Widener. That's also the same day. That's from 9 to 1. So, I encourage you guys to check that out. Let me see what else I got. And, for the most part, I'm so passionate about, holding our city officials accountable because of the fact that, if you voted them in or if you didn't vote them in, they still work for us. They work for us because we're paying them to work for us. Now, if you're a homeowner in the city of Chester, you're paying taxes. If you work in the city of Chester, or if you just live in the city of Chester, you're paying taxes. So I don't know, for most people, they don't scrutinize their pay stub, but you might want to check it out. We pay 3.75 in wage taxes. And if they're not taking it out, I'm going to say this again for you. If they're not taking it out, you might want to give it to your payroll rep and have them to take it out. Mm-hmm. Because we are in such a situation now that if you're not having it to be taken out, they can then come after you for the amount that you should have paid for the whole year. And, you know, the guru over here can tell you that. They will come after you.
They've been garnishing wages.
Because at the end of the day, you know, you have to pay your fair share. Is it fair? No. Is it fair that we got to pay 3.75? No. But once we become an unstressed municipality, we will not be paying that rate anymore. And our city will also lose $7.3 million. So we need to think about who we're voting in. We need to think about, are they aligned with some of our views? Now, I know yesterday was the last day for the petitions. I hope and pray that everybody that announced and said they were running for city council, mayor, judge, controller, I'm hoping that all those folks got in. I know there were a lot of people circulating petitions. I actually was a part of that process this time, so I know how hard it was to tell a person who this person is, what they stand for, blah, 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 blah. So yesterday was the last day. From today until the 14th is the challenging process, meaning that if you want to challenge if you want to challenge the person who's running against you's petition, you can go out media and challenge them. Now, don't get me wrong. You can't just go to the clerk and say, well, I want to challenge Joe Blow's petitions. No, you have to literally have a hearing in front of a judge. So think about that wisely. But I also want everybody to realize that, you know, just because you signed the petition didn't mean you voted for that person. The voting process does not start till May the 16th. If you are not registered to vote, there are a lot of mechanisms where you can go and check to see if you're active, if you can see your affiliation, if you can even just see if where you're supposed to vote, if that even changed. So now is the time to get on that, because this election for the city of Chester is very, very, very crucial. Local elections matter way more than the presidential. The things around you affect you more than what the president might be signing right now. So I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Straight to the Point, episode 6. Next week will be episode 7. Our special guest for next week will be none other than Rachel Hannibal. She's also going to be coming in and giving us some financial advice. You know, I'm a firm believer that, you know, everybody has a different way of doing things. So anyone that you see on the show and you take pointers from them, just don't think that they are the end all be all, because someone else may have something too that you can benefit from. So again, thank you for tuning into episode 6 of Straight to the Point, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
These are the signs of love making.